The leader of the Liberal Party in Ontario says, elect me, I'm going to make sure everybody has snow tires. And everywhere across the country, you see politicians who are saying, elect me, I will give you this and that. John Capobianco is a conservative candidate, and he's a smart and astute observer of politics. He joins me right now because all I hear in Western democracies are people, in order to get elected, and all parties do it. They say, elect me, I'm going to give you this, even though you're going to be paying for it. But increasingly, government seems to be unable to do things well. We've seen that through the pandemic. We've seen that with snow removal in cities. They say, okay, we're going to do your sidewalks for you, and they can't get it done. Are we doomed to disappointment by asking government to do too many things?
Well, I think the challenge is Canadians, voters, are getting acclimatized to that. I think they're getting used to governments over-promising and under-delivering, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's government, and there's almost an expectation for that. I remember the days when I was working for Mike Harris when he was a premier, and back then, you know, the mantra promises made, promises kept actually meant something. He actually made promises, and he kept them. And it wasn't because of what the polling numbers were saying or what was popular, what was not popular. He had an ideological vision and sort of, you know, focus that he wanted to get done. And he let everybody know through the Common Sense Revolution, if you remember that. Oh. And he went day by day, year by year, and he went through each one of those promises. And in 1999, when he was going for his re-election, even though he wasn't particularly liked because there was protests and all that kind of stuff, because change is always going to cause problems, he got reelected. And at the door, what people said was, I'm sure I like Mike Harris, but boy, he's going to do what he says he's going to do, and I respect that. Those days, I think, are gone now.
Well, they're gone certainly in the federal parties, because the Prime Minister hasn't kept virtually any of his promises. But also in your party, you have a leader who has flip-flopped on certain issues, and you also have a party which some people say is liberal light, because they think that's more popular. So we don't have many politicians who say, I believe in this, elect me, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, see, now I think Doug Ford is somebody who I think is going to have that level of promises made, promises kept, kind of a campaign mantra going into the next election. I believe that because notwithstanding the pandemic, which of course has taken the majority of his term,
right.
but Doug Ford went in with some very strong ideas that he wanted to put forward, and he's by and large kept a lot of them. But the pandemic now has caused a huge amount of issue with respect to spending. And I think now governments are way overspending, and no one's going to complain about that because, of course, during a pandemic, you need it during a crisis. So what I'm worried about is post-pandemic, which government and who's going to be able to do something with the economy after this thing is over. And Doug Ford has been talking about economic recovery post-pandemic more so than any other politician.
I think all politicians are going to have to get onto that. John Capobianco. Wise words, thanks. 3 minutes. Thank you very, very much for watching and for engaging in the 3 minutes, which will carry you through most discussions for the day. 2022 is going to be a very, very tough year. Stay with us. Please tell your friends to subscribe and PayPal. Thanks.